When your wife has given up on the marriage and you're facing an unwanted divorce, the pain of losing everything you've built together can feel overwhelming at times. And because that pain is so overwhelming, it can cause you to act in certain ways that aren't beneficial to winning her back, and in fact actually does the opposite. Instead, you accidentally reinforce her decision to end the relationship. Maybe you started begging and pleading, promising that this time you'll actually change. Maybe you told her you'd do counseling when before you wouldn't. Or maybe you just exploded in anger, unable to comprehend how she can just so easily walk away from everything. But here's the harsh reality, guys. Any reaction other than acceptance only validates and reconfirms her decision for wanting to divorce. So if you want to stop the divorce, you've got to stop pushing her in her emotions. Because a woman's going to stay in the relationship for a very long time, even when she's unhappy. And usually you know she's unhappy, but you're not really realizing just how serious it is for her. And you're not doing it deliberately. You're not purposefully trying to disregard her feelings. But because you're wired differently than she is, you interpret unhappiness in a much different way. When we're in unhealthy patterns or loops in our relationship, we're living it day to day and time just flies by. We often grow complacent and don't really recognize just how bad things have become for our partner. And we only view the relationship from our own perspective. We don't take a few steps back to really try and view it from our partner's perspective. So when a challenge or issue arises and our partner tries to bring it up, what really differentiates a happy relationship and an effortless relationship from one that's hard and that struggles is the reaction that we have to our partner's struggles. Because it's really hard not to react to a challenge or issue that your partner brings up to you, especially when it's about you. You initially feel attacked. You do so much for her. Why can't she see what you are doing? So your reaction, without even thinking about it, is to default into self-defense mechanisms. Maybe it's defensiveness or anger or passiveness, or lack of motivation and action leading to a complete shutdown. Regardless of the way that you react when a challenge or issue arises, those patterns persist, and before you even know it, the relationship stalls and gets frozen there because those patterns start to become habitual for you. And then she also reacts to your reactions, and it just becomes an unhealthy cycle. And at the time and for a long while, you both make excuses for those reactions. You chalk it up to maybe she's hormonal, maybe she's moody, maybe she's stressed. Hey, I'm stressed. The kids are really a nuisance today. They're struggling in school. So-and-so has health issues. There's always an excuse and a reason to be allergic to accepting responsibility for both of your unhealthy reactions. So her asking for a divorce is really the only way she knows how to actually step out of that unhealthy pattern and loop that you guys have grown accustomed to. She no longer wants to be complacent in how the relationship has developed. And because those patterns have become so accustomed to you, oftentimes when she comes and she asks for a divorce, it totally surprises you and you feel like it's out of the blue because those patterns and that loop that you're in has just become so inherent to you that you feel like, hey, it's just us. It's just our reaction and how we are. You didn't really take into consideration how much it was affecting her. So leave me a comment and let me know. Did your wife asking for a divorce, was it a surprise to you? Does it feel like it's coming out of the blue? Or did you see it coming? Leave me a comment and let me know. So when your wife is asking for a divorce, it's because it's really, from her perspective, the only option she has left to break those cycles and get out of that unhealthy pattern that's really been affecting her. Because from her perspective, nothing that she's tried has gotten you to understand her perspective and how she's viewing the relationship, how affected she is, how emotionally unfulfilled she's been feeling. So how do you stop the divorce then? Well, the better question to ask yourself is, what are the unhealthy patterns and loops that you're stuck in? How did you both react to challenges and issues that were arising in the relationship? Did her reactions fuel your reactions? Did your reactions fuel her reactions? And most importantly, why Were you reacting that way to begin with? A lot of advice out there focuses on changing those behaviors. And if you create emotional safety, you're going to eventually win her back by not having those reactions. But really, no advice out there talks about what's causing you to have those reactions to begin with. To rebuild into an effortless relationship doesn't mean just becoming a drone and learning how to say the right thing at the right time to create an emotional safe space for her. To rebuild into an effortless relationship is to learn what you're emotionally lacking, what your emotional requirement is, because that's the root cause of why you react how you react. Because people who are emotionally fulfilled and happy don't have unhealthy reactions. The reactions stem from feeling insecure in some way. Insecure in not feeling appreciated and loved in the things that you are doing for her, in the effort you are giving her. So you're feeling like the effort you're giving wasn't enough, and it starts to cause you to react in an unhealthy manner. It starts to make you feel not good enough or maybe undervalued and underappreciated. And that's why in my program, we don't focus on just creating emotional safety. We focus on really understanding what your emotional lacking, what your love lingo is, what your love jargon is. Love lingo, for those of you who don't know and haven't watched my other videos, that's what your emotional requirement is to feel emotionally satisfied and loved. And your love jargon is the way you offer love naturally to someone that you love. So that's why if she's coming to you with a challenge, she's feeling emotionally unfulfilled in her love lingo, and the way that you're offering her love, your love jargon, isn't naturally filling her love tank. So her not receiving the love that you're offering is actually very hurtful for you, because you are trying and you are putting in the effort, but it's not resonating with her. So then what happens is you react because you're hurt, and then she reacts, and it starts to become an unhealthy cycle. So again, it's not just about becoming a drone to say the right thing to create emotional safety. Emotional safety will automatically be the result once you can identify, hey, I'm just feeling hurt right now because the way I offer love naturally isn't actually naturally resonating with her. So I don't need to feel hurt. I can come to this and I don't need to react. I can just respond, and I can realize, oh, I just have to shift my love jargon a bit to start filling up her love lingo tank in the way that's actually going to resonate with her. So once you can do that, the emotional safety automatically returns, because it's not this cycle that you're stuck in of she feels hurt, you feel hurt, and you're in this perpetual hamster wheel that you keep reacting and hurting each other rather than getting to the root cause of what's actually causing the problems in the relationship to begin with. And it's all just a mismatch in your love communication. So when you can break it down that way, emotional safety becomes the result, because you start to feel safe too, because you recognize what's actually happening and you're able to not allow it to affect you anymore. And that's how to stop divorce and rebuild into an effortless relationship. You master your love communication. You master the way you communicate love. And you learn how to alter your love jargon to fulfill her emotional requirement. Every single person can have an effortless relationship, but the caveat to that is it takes a lot of effort before it becomes effortless. It's never about changing yourself or trying to be someone that you're not. It's about establishing your identity as a man who can effectively communicate love in a way that's actually going to resonate with your partner, and a man who's not going to allow himself to be affected when his own love jargon is feeling unappreciated. And if you're really looking to rebuild into an effortless relationship, check out my free masterclass. I'll put the link in the description of the video and in the comments. And there's also an opportunity there to work with me if you're really struggling on how to step into that identity and how to alter your love jargon in a way that's actually going to bring her closer rather than pushing her further away. I really hope this video was helpful, guys. If so, definitely hit it a like for me and subscribe to the channel for more videos on helping you rebuild into an effortless relationship. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, And let's really focus on falling back in love.